I have started the recording.
Recording in progress.
Thank you. Oh, great. Okay. You ready? Ready? Okay. Good evening. We will call the Auburn City Council meeting for Monday, May 1st, 2023 to order. We will begin with the land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge the federally recognized Muckleshoot Indian tribe, the ancestral keepers of the land we are gathered on today. We thank them for their immense contributions to our state and local history, culture, economy, and identity as Washingtonians. We have public participation this evening. The Auburn City Council will be held in person and virtually. Now, if you would all please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. And Sean, will you please call roll?
Deputy Mayor Jayraj.
I'm here.
Councilmember Baggett.
Here.
Councilmember Baldwin.
Here.
Councilmember Brown.
Here.
Councilmember Malenga.
Here.
Councilmember Rakes.
Here.
Councilmember Trout Manuel.
Here.
Thank you very much. And tonight, as you can see on your agenda, Council and people in the audience, we do have several proclamations, but we are going to start tonight with an honored guest. Many of you, if not all of you, will recognize her, Deanna Dawson, who is the CEO of the Association of Washington Cities, and her wonderful son, George. Hi, George.
Good evening. Do I need to turn this on? Is this on?
It's on.
Okay, great. Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. I am Deanna Dawson. I'm the CEO of AWC. I've been here for less than a year in this capacity, but I've gotten to know many of you in my past capacity as the executive director of Sound Cities Association, where I worked for the past 10 years. I see the president of the Sound Cities Association coincidentally is in the audience tonight as well. So you're going to get a lot of regional goodwill tonight from AWC and from SCA. It's great to be here with all of you. So I'm here tonight to honor the mayor, spoiler alert, but I'm also here just to give you a couple of words about who we are at AWC, so just to give a little context to what I'm talking about this evening. So the Association of Washington Cities is a membership organization. We represent all 281 cities in the state of Washington. And we're really proud of the fact that we're a voluntary membership association, but that every single city in the state of Washington chooses to be a member. And that is not the case in most states across the country, so we're really proud of that fact. We are celebrating 90 years of service this year in 2023. And we actually are 4 separate but related corporations. I'm going to really just talk a little bit about AWC, the main organization. But we do also have an employee benefit trust, which Auburn is a member of. We provide health insurance to many of your city employees through that. We also have a risk management service agency, which you are not a member of, but you should be a member of to provide your other insurance needs, and we'd love to talk to you about that. And we also have a 501c3, which is devoted towards municipal leadership and civic engagement and nonpartisan cooperation. We give scholarships out as a part of that, and Mayor Backus also serves on that scholarship committee for us. So our mission at AWC is to serve our members through advocacy, education, and services. And a lot of you know us for our advocacy. You may have questions for me tonight about the legislative session. I'm not here to give a presentation on that, but I can answer questions if you do have any. But I'm really here to talk about our education that we do at AWC tonight, because we do quite a lot of education. We present trainings to over 1,000 people every year in our cities. It helps our elected officials in the state of Washington be really effective in the work that they're doing and be up to speed on the legal issues facing cities, up to speed on the important issues facing different communities, issues around land use planning, issues around public safety, and the like. And so one of the things that we do is that we have a training program called a Certificate of Municipal Leadership. And in that, we offer training and education in 5 different core competencies. Those are the roles, responsibilities, and legal requirements of being an elected official, public sector management, community planning and development, effective local leadership, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. And the Certificate of Municipal Leadership requires you to get at least 30 credits, so 30 hours of training in each of those 5 areas. Not 150, not 30 in each, but 30, and you have to do training in all 5 of those areas. And it's really interesting, actually, that there's less than 200 people in the state of Washington who have got their Certificate of Municipal Leadership. It's hard to get. It takes some work to do it. And less than 100 have their advanced Certificate of Municipal Leadership. And it's actually really interesting that the 2 of them are in this room tonight. And one of them is Councilmember Trout Manuel, and then one of them is your mayor now, Mayor Nancy Backus. So I would encourage you all, though, to take a look at this Certificate of Municipal Leadership. All of you are really on your way towards getting it. I know that several of you, I know James Jairaj has only 5 credits needed to get his certificate. I think, Bob, you've got the credits. You just haven't filled out the paperwork and haven't done one of those areas, so you're super close. And all of you have many credits, and all of you are well on your way. Your council is really a model of leadership in this state and in training and effectiveness. So I'm really proud of all of you in that regard. But I would encourage you all to go ahead and get that Certificate of Municipal Leadership. You can all get a copy of this PowerPoint. It has a link to how you can get that certificate. And so to get that at advanced CML, you need to have at least 60 credits. And in all those 5 competency areas. And you also have to demonstrate significant service to the Association of Washington Cities. As Yolanda, I know that you've done that in the past. You have so many credits and you've done so many good things with AWC over the years. And we're so excited tonight to be able to recognize Mayor Backus for achieving her advanced Certificate of Municipal Leadership. I was talking to one of our mayors in Ording tonight, and he said, how is it possible that Nancy doesn't already have her advanced CML? She's doing everything. And I said, well, maybe that's the reason, because she's so busy, she just never got a chance to fill out all that paperwork before. But she really is doing so many things. And I can say that Mayor Backus has received 87 education credits. So she had those credits a while back to be able to get this in all 5 areas of focus. And she's also done so many things for the Association of Washington Cities over the years. She served on our large city advisory committee. She served on our legislative priority committee. She currently serves on our Center for Quality Communities scholarship committee. She's also been so active in Sound Cities Association. She's a past president there. She serves in so many capacities around the region. So we're really excited tonight to be here to honor her and to present her with her Certificate of Advanced Municipal Leadership. And so, Nancy, I do have a certificate for you here, which I will present to you. This is where you're supposed to applaud for Nancy, I think. So. And so, Nancy, we're going to give you this certificate. It has a little ding on it. And so I will get you a fresh one so that it'll be suitable for your framing. But I'm just so proud to be here with you, my friend. Thank you, and congratulations for all the great work that you do on behalf of your community.
Thank you, Deanna, very much.
Let's get a picture here. Don't get my boots in that picture. And I also have this lovely pin for you, Nancy.
Thank you very much.
Before I wrap up, if I may, I also want to say that I'm very excited about the fact that Mayor Backus is running for our board of directors this year. The cities in South King County are represented by District 13, and the person serving District 13 is not running for election this year. And so Mayor Backus has filed to run for election. She is running unopposed. So I believe that she will be our next board member from District 13. And so we're really excited to have her in a leadership position at the Association of Washington Cities in the coming year. I'd also really like to invite all of you to join us at our conference in June in Spokane. Auburn always sends a great delegation to those conferences, and this is a really exciting one because it is our 90th anniversary. We're celebrating 90 years of building bridges, and the focus of the conference is about nonpartisan cooperation and how we can all work together to get things done, and how we can achieve more if we work together in partnership. And if we have those bridges built between east and west of the mountains, between large cities and small communities, red and blue, if we all work together, we're going to get more done and more accomplished. And that's what we're really all about at Association of Washington Cities. So hope to see you all in Spokane this spring. And please let me know how we can support Auburn in the future. If you have any questions for me tonight, I'm here to answer them. But I also know you have a very busy agenda, and so I will not be offended if you want me to be on my merry way. Mayor?
Thank you, Deanna, so much for your leadership at SCA and now at AWC. Council, any questions or comments for Deanna? No. Well, I do want to say thank you. It's an honor to have you here, and a privilege to be involved in AWC, a privilege to call you my friend, and thank you so much for bringing George with you this evening.
He's excited to be here tonight, so thank you for having both of us. I held onto this letter for you, Nancy. I will leave it here on the podium for you.
Perfect. I'm heading back up there.
All right. Thank you so much for everyone for allowing me to speak tonight, and I look forward to seeing you all in June, if not before. Take care.
Thank you, Deanna. All right, and as I mentioned, we do have several proclamations this evening. It's quite exciting, so I am going to head up to the podium. There was some talk of having a bets on how many whereases we were going to go through this evening. The first proclamation this evening is for Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And I know we have Pastor Ofalangi and his family and others here this evening. If you'd like to come forward, please. Yeah, come on up. You can stand around here too, so you can be seen too, whichever way you want to be. There you go. Perfect. All right, the first one. Whereas Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month is observed during the month of May to recognize and celebrate the vibrant cultures and heritage of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders, AH-NHPIs. And whereas AA and NHPI Heritage Month originated with a congressional bill in June of 1977 and later expanded into a month-long event in 1992. An estimated 24 million Asian Americans and 1.6 million Native Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders currently live in the U.S. And whereas we recognize the significant contributions and accomplishments of generations of AA and NHPI individuals in the arts, education, sciences, government, sports, and economic development, both across our state and in the city of Auburn. And whereas we celebrate the AA and NHPI communities We also reaffirm our commitment to combating the surge of anti-Asian hate crimes to create a more supportive, inclusive, and equitable community. And whereas today the City of Auburn seeks to recognize the diversity of its community and afford all residents the opportunity to better understand, recognize, and appreciate the rich history and shared experiences of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders. And now, therefore, I, Nancy Backus, Mayor of the City of Auburn, do hereby proclaim May 2023 as Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month in the City of Auburn, and urge our community to join me in this special observance dated this first day of May 2023. And I have, I think, is it 2 copies or 3 copies? 2 copies. For you, Pastor. Well, I will give you both, and you can determine how those are distributed, and if there's anyone that would like to speak.
Yeah, can I just
Please, yes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, fellow council members and executive directors and community members. My name is Ofahelo Tulangi, and I have the privilege of serving our community. And on behalf of the rich history that we have as Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders, honored to accept this proclamation for the month of May 2023. And in great hopes, we stand on the shoulders of those who have come before us to work the rich, fertile soils of this valley, and to bring our gifts and our talents from across the great Pacific Ocean to venture here to Auburn and to live among our people. We are blessed and honored to be here, and I look forward to not only the diversity, inclusion that we bring to the table, but we look forward to serving our community together as a family. And if you will know that we make up of Asian Americans in Auburn, according to the census last year, we are made up of 12%. Pacific Islanders and Native Hawaiians make up of just over 2%. And so when you look at that per capita, when you look at the demographics and the challenges that we face here, I look forward to the equity and the balance and the diversity of what we can do as a city to meet the needs of our people. We are the fastest growing rate in our prison system. We are the fastest dying in all of our native areas. We excel in all the negative areas. And so we look forward to a better, healthy Auburn that will collaborate, that will work together as a community to raise the standard of living. We journey here to the States to get an education, but most of our people live well, are uneducated. We come here for financial means to help our people back in our countries and to establish a new life here in the States. And majority of our people live under the poverty line. If we've come here for health reasons, our people excel in all the negative areas with diabetes, heart issues, cancer. That is well represented per capita among our people. And so as a small group of people, a minority group within a minority group here in Auburn, we look forward to the benefits that we can have as we gather together, work together, serve together, and alongside each other, we become better, stronger as a united, not only a united nation, but a united Auburn city. And so, Madam Mayor, council members, and executive directors, we are proud to be here with you. And please, if there is anything we can bring to the table, we look forward to your emails, your phone calls, to work alongside you as we partner together to make Auburn a better place. So thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, yes. With me here this evening are local business members of our diverse community. You have Ben Siapko. Next to him is Kate Kosaka. Philippines. Yeah. Kate is dressed in her tie. Male here is from Fiji. And then you have Mele Tupo, who is my niece. She is dressed as a traditional Tongan young woman. And my name is Ofalangi from Tonga. And here are my 4 children, Maiko, Akosita, Malakai, and our son Josiah. And we are here for you. So, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here this evening and for all that you contribute to this community. Next on our list of mayoral proclamations is the Jewish American Heritage Month. Don't believe we have anyone in the audience this evening coming to accept this award or this proclamation, but I will read it into the record. Mayor's Proclamation. Whereas since 2006, when it was first recognized by Congress, Jewish American Heritage Month has been celebrated to honor the enduring legacy and profound impacts of Jewish Americans in our society. And whereas from our nation's earliest days, Jewish Americans have been an essential part of the American story, greatly contributing to the religious, cultural, political, economic, and intellectual advancement of all people, even while facing discrimination and adversity, working tirelessly to realize their piece of the American dream with relentless spirit, and these remarkable achievements have enriched our country. And whereas as we celebrate the rich heritage of the Jewish American community in the city of Auburn, we recognize that American Jews have worked tirelessly to strengthen the promise of religious freedom and civil rights in the United States by joining together with all faiths to reject ignorance and intolerance, teach empathy and compassion, and root out hatred wherever it exists. And through our understanding and study of the Holocaust, we know the human devastation that can come from systemic prejudice and are compelled to never forget. And whereas this month we honor Jewish Americans past and present who have woven their experience and accomplishments into the fabric of our national identity. And now, therefore, I, Nancy Backus, Mayor of the City of Auburn, do hereby proclaim May 2023 as Jewish American Heritage Month in the City of Auburn and call upon our residents to celebrate Jewish Americans who contributed immeasurably to the fabric of American history, culture, science, education, and social justice, and to many aspects of our community, excuse me, dated this first day of May 2023. The next mayor's proclamation is Mental Health Month. And do we have Liz? Is Liz here? I don't see Liz, do you? She might, okay. All right, well, we will make sure to get this to her. Mayor's Proclamation. Whereas Mental Health Month has been observed since 1949 to raise awareness of mental health conditions and the importance of mental health depression being the #1 mental health issue in the world today. And whereas mental health allows us to maintain relationships, take care of ourselves and our families, take care of our physical bodies, and respond and adapt to the daily life changes. Whereas mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being, it affects how we think, feel, and act. It also affects how we handle stress, relate to others, and make choices. And whereas mental health disorders commonly begin during adolescence, with many young people reporting having a serious mental health disorder at some point in their life. Suicide is one of the leading causes of death for individuals aged 10 to 34 in the United States. Whereas Teen Ready was developed through the Blue Ribbon Committee, and these trainings are provided to reduce stigma and teach students to help their friends who may be facing a mental health problem or crisis, such as suicide. And whereas evidence-based mental and behavioral health training teaches adults how to recognize signs and symptoms of mental health and substance use problems in youth and provides adults with skills to use a 5-step action plan to help youth who may be facing a mental health problem or crisis such as suicide. Whereas a lack of mental health awareness leads to devastating impacts on the well-being of individuals and society. Now, therefore, I, Nancy Backus, Mayor of the City of Auburn, do hereby proclaim May 2023 as Mental Health Month within the City of Auburn and call upon our community to promote awareness and understanding of mental wellness and to stand with those with mental health challenges to remind them that they are never alone. Dated this first day of May 2023. And next we have National Day of Prayer, and I know we have Pastor LaShun Lambert and perhaps other pastors.
I think my son's going to join me.
All right, wonderful. All dressed up and dapper.
Going to see the city.
Hello. Right, Mayor's Proclamation. Excuse me. Whereas on this National Day of Prayer, established by the Continental Congress in 1775 and the United States Congress in 1952, approved a joint resolution setting aside a day each year to recognize the tradition of prayer in our land. And whereas throughout our history, prayer has been relied on as a means of uniting, guiding, and healing. During times of strength and times of weakness, in moments of joy and moments of despair, prayer has provided reassurance, sustenance, and affirmation of common purpose. And whereas we are afforded the privilege of prayer and the joy of seeking guidance, strength, comfort, and inspiration, regardless of our individual beliefs and faith practices, we have an assurance that our prayers are heard and answered. And whereas throughout this day of prayer, we ask God to bless our brave service members in uniform who battle for freedom throughout the world and to keep them from harm. We recognize the sacrifice of our military families and ask that they be granted peace and strength. We pray for our heroes here at home who risk their lives every day to protect us, including police officers and firefighters, and ask that He watch over them as they perform their sworn duty. Whereas we remember and mourn for all Americans lost whose mission was to protect us here at home. For those who made the ultimate sacrifice, we ask the Lord to bless and comfort their families. And now, therefore, I, Nancy Backus, Mayor of the City of Auburn, do hereby declare May 4th, 2023, to be National Day of Prayer in Auburn, and urge our residents to join in keeping the wishes of the Congress of the United States in joining me in prayer full of hope and reflection, sorrow and fear, remorse and renewed resolve, thanks and joyful praise in this special observance dated this first day of May 2023. Pastor, I will give this to you and ask for your words.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Council, Madam Mayor, all of our officials, our police chief, it is an honor to stand here and to have Pastor Ofa as well, Jackson Lambert, who's my assistant pastor, and Doug, who's our head deacon at the church. The National Day of Prayer is a sign that we have a chance as a country to move forward. There's yet to be anything in our country that our politicians came up with that did not start on our knees. Whether it be the Civil War, the women's rights movement, every political movement started as a move of God that someone decided to co-opt and get election credit for. I'm praying that this year we can lay all of that aside and stand together, not as activists, just as people that know that there's a God in heaven that will not tolerate this level of division, hatred, crime, and shameful acts in our street. I pray that all of our leaders will be able to attend, and if they can't be there, just be praying, because if our Congress has its way, we'll keep having the same fights. I believe that God has an answer, and if we will stand together with this year's theme, which is to pray fervently, which means to pray hot, not the boring prayer that you got growing up in church and in Sunday school, lay me down to sleep, how's that go? Yeah, the sleepy time prayers, but I think it's time to pray seriously. Why? All of the months that we're acknowledging, whether it's the workload of our nurses, dealing with healthcare issues that could be solved, the mental health trauma that our country's going through, all of these things disappear when everyone that the Creator made comes together and says, we are one people. And God will listen to your will, which is peace on earth. God bless you all, and thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
All right. Pastor Lambert just mentioned the nurses. We are now going to proclaim Nurses Month, and I believe we have some wonderful first responders here in the form of nurses. And is Mark here as well?
Yes, he's here.
Mark, yes, come on over too, please. Thank you all for joining this evening. All right, Mayor's Proclamation. Whereas registered nurses constitute our nation's largest healthcare profession, and whereas the registered nursing profession meets the different and emerging healthcare needs of the American population in a wide range of settings, including the front line of the pandemic. Yes. And whereas the American Nurses Association, as the voice for registered nurses, is working to chart a new course for a healthy nation that relies on increasing access to primary and preventive health care and better utilization of registered nursing resources. Whereas Multicare Auburn Medical Center for more than 100 years has provided quality patient care under the direction and guidance of highly skilled and caring registered nurses. And whereas the demand for registered nursing services will be greater than ever because of the aging of the South King County population, in addition to the emerging health challenges and the continuing expansion of life-sustaining technologies. Whereas more qualified registered nurses are required in the future to meet the increasingly complex needs of healthcare consumers in this community, and whereas the American Nurses Association has declared May as Nurses Month with the theme, You Make a Difference, with appreciation for nurses' unparalleled impact during the pandemic and their contributions to healthcare, and an open invitation to #ThankANurse for enriching our lives and the world we live in. And now, therefore, I, Nancy Backus, Mayor of the City of Auburn, do hereby proclaim May 2023 as Nurses Month in the City of Auburn and celebrate National Nurses Month by honoring all registered nurses and especially those who have cared for us in the past times and present. It is with gratitude and appreciation that we salute you this month and every month, dated this first day of May 2023.
I am beyond proud to be here. My name is Lucy Norris, and I'm the chief nurse for Auburn Medical Center and Covington Medical Center. And I have with me a lot of representation. These are leaders from the emergency department, from all the inpatient areas, and a nursing supervisor from family birth, and we even let our CEO tag along. So I just want to thank you. We appreciate this partnership with the community. We serve the community, and I've been a nurse for a very, very long time, and I've loved what I've done every day that I've done it. And so thank you very much, and thank you for allowing us to serve you. So thank you.
How about, would you all like to say your names so we know who you are as you are walking by?
Well, and Mark may have.
And Mark may have a few words that he would like to say as well.
Yes.
Off to the side here.
Lucy said it beautifully. What I will say is that healthcare is a team sport. And we are privileged as a team to serve the wonderful city and community of Auburn. I'll conclude my remarks by simply saying, if you need something in healthcare to get done, ask a nurse to do it. It's a great privilege to work with these fine folks.
Yeah, why don't you all just come up and as we leave, just say your name. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Emily Kesterson, ED nurse and a clinical assistant nurse manager.
Hi, I'm Heather Thomason, and I'm the clinical director of the Auburn ED and Covington Inpatient and Emergency Department.
Hi, I'm Doris Moyle. I'm the Med-Surg nurse manager.
I'm Michelle Denny. I'm the clinical director for Family Birth Center.
And Katie Haynes. I'm one of the Auburn nursing supervisors.
My name is Rose Atkins, and I'm the clinical director of inpatient services.
And I'm the newest member of the team. I'm Marilyn Hooser. I'm the manager of the emergency department at Auburn.
I hope none of you ever have to use the services over there, but if you do, I hope you realize that you are in exceptional hands.
Stop by our office.
Stop by the office, yes. Excellent. Thank you so much. All right. Next is Affordable Housing Week, and I believe we have Cliff Cawthon with Habitat for Humanity. And Tina Ellison, Director of Housing Services for Compass Housing Alliance. One on each side? Sure. That's
oh, okay.
All right.
You want to swap side?
Oh, no, that's okay.
Are you dancing now up here?
Well, I mean, I did come dressed for it.
You did come dressed for it.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
I'm always dressed for that.
Yeah. I'm always up for a little dancing. All right, Mayor's Proclamation. Whereas all people should have access to safe, healthy, and affordable housing, and whereas the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, defines affordable housing as housing on which the occupant is paying no more than 30% of gross income for housing costs, including utilities. And whereas the Department of Commerce projects that by 2044, King County needs nearly 200,000 net new housing units for households at or below 80% of area median income. And whereas studies have found that each $100 increase in median rent results in a 15% increase in homelessness in metro areas and a 39% increase in homelessness in nearby suburbs and rural areas. That's gone up considerably in the last 6 or 7 years. And COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated many existing financial constraints for low and moderate income households. And whereas everyone benefits from affordable housing, including those people who reside in these properties, their neighbors, businesses, employers, and the community as a whole, and whereas the combined cost burden of housing plus transportation can substantially reduce by locating affordable housing opportunities in proximities to transit, and whereas united to raise public awareness, communities throughout King County are participating in local Affordable Housing Week efforts to inform the public of the critical need to preserve and increase affordable housing in our communities, and whereas the City of Auburn endorses the goals, objectives, and purposes of Affordable Housing Week, and in doing so, recommits itself to ensuring that our community thrives with opportunity and that all people live with dignity in safe, healthy, and affordable homes. And now, therefore, I, Nancy Backus, Mayor of the City of Auburn, do hereby proclaim the week of May 7th through the 13th, 2023, as Affordable Housing Week in the City of Auburn, and urge our community to recognize the connection between health and housing organizations and explore resources to achieve and maintain affordable and responsible housing. Dated this first day of May, 2023. I only have one copy of this one, but we will get you a copy.
Right on.
Who wants to?
Oh,
Give
thank
it to
you.
Cliff?
Thank you, ma'am.
And then
Do you want to go first?
you got the proclamation. Let her talk first. And
Exactly.
We'll talk
Yeah,
after
see,
that.
that's
Okay,
equitable.
there you go.
I'm with it.
There you go.
Thank
I
you.
can dig it.
So first, Madam Mayor, council members, other officials, just thank you so much for all that you've been doing and all of these wonderful things are being celebrated. As somebody who's been providing low-income affordable housing for everybody from chronically homeless to the working family on limited incomes for the last almost 30 years, I'm so grateful that Compass gets to now be a part of Auburn in operating our new emergency housing, and your support and dedication and commitment to dignity of every human being, regardless of their abilities, their incomes, or where they're from, is such a testament to the values of this community. And I feel privileged, Compass feels honored to get to be a member of that and to be alongside these amazing folks. HDC has been such a catalyst at making sure people get educated about the real causes of poverty and homelessness and what the need is. And as I'll just speak as somebody who's aging, the number one population of people who are going to be harmed by the lack of affordable housing are those of us who are aging over 50 and more. If you know anybody on a fixed income, they can't afford what is labeled affordable housing. So we want to make sure that we're getting good information out for people so that we don't put people in boxes on who we're advocating for, but making sure we're recognizing everybody and anybody in this room knows somebody who is or could be hurting financially that puts their housing at risk. And we want to love on your family and your friends the way you do. And so thank you for that privilege.
Wow. I gotta say, usually it's not hard for me to speak, so this is a rare moment. So thank you, Mayor Backus, for this proclamation. Thank you, Auburn City Council, and for City of Auburn for everything you do. Believe it or not, I actually wrote some notes because my heart was full when seeing all of the just beloved community that we have in our, well, my neighbor, because I'm a Kent resident actually. Yeah, right. Yeah, or Southern Cat. No, I'm just joking. But due to our close proximity, just the kind of beloved community that we have here, I gotta say that is something that is unique, not just in the state of Washington, but across the country. Also, I just want to shout this out: Happy International Workers' Day, and also I just want to say congratulations, kudos to the faith leaders, to the community leaders, and also to our nurses, whom many of us wouldn't be here if not for them, given the past couple of years. And also, they happen to make up our core demographic for many of our homeowners, many of whom would not be able to have a home, period, if it wasn't for the work of Habitat for Humanity or Compass Housing. And we are proud to be a member of the Housing Development Consortium, as well as the Black Home Initiative. But I actually want to touch on something that you said that really resonates with me, because actually my mother's here tonight, who lives in unincorporated Auburn. So I probably shouldn't have told her that I was doing this tonight, because she was like, oh, I just want to know, and she drove right on over. So it's a wonderful surprise for me. Yeah, right? And we were talking before he came here, and we're actually from New York originally. And, we moved out here, did the traditional thing. She moved out to be close to me, and we were talking about the scarcity of housing and our own story and our own experience, and how it was difficult for not just myself and my wife, but also for her as a senior citizen to find housing. And for me, that brings up one of the most important civil rights questions of the 21st century. So who gets to have a safe and affordable place to live? Habitat for Humanity, Seattle, King, Kittitas counties is a 37-year-old organization that has partnered with community to build affordable housing specifically for affordable home ownership purposes for many people like all of you here tonight. And as cheesy as it may sound, our mission statement actually answers that question. We believe everyone should have a safe and affordable and decent place to live. And in fact, we have worked with community to address the issue of housing scarcity and the issue of rising housing costs. People like McKaylee, one of our frequent advocacy volunteers that recently became a homeowner in our Capitol View vertical build that we were able to dedicate actually last month. And in the last several years, we've worked to increase our building capacity to the point we have in our 5-year pipeline almost 300 units of affordable housing either coming online right now or in the process of being developed. And right. And South King County is in particular need of more housing types, more affordable home ownership opportunities, more affordable housing across the housing continuum, including for seniors, including for affordable rental opportunities. So we're actually proud to have 2 affordable housing projects in South King County that utilize middle housing types to provide affordable home ownership opportunities. And we also have very active repairs programs that serves low-income seniors, people on fixed incomes here in Auburn, as well as across the county. So I'm extremely grateful to accept this proclamation on behalf of Habitat for Humanity tonight, and to stand here with my fellow Housing Development Consortium members. And also, I honestly just look forward to doing the work, because it will take all of us working together. Partnerships between the City of Auburn, between Habitat and organizations like Compass, in order to build the affordable housing that we desperately need, and in order to overcome some of the conversations we have to have in order to make sure that we take the measures necessary, pass the legislation necessary at the local, county, at the state level, to make sure that we can make all of our communities safe, decent, and equitable places to live. Thank you.
All right, one last proclamation this evening. I'm going to ask our Police Chief, Mark Collier, to come forward, please. You can stand wherever you want. You got the gun. Mayor's proclamation. Whereas in 1962, President John F. Kennedy designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which that falls as Police Week, to honor the service and sacrifice of officers killed in the line of duty while protecting our communities and safeguarding our democracy. And whereas law enforcement is a noble and courageous occupation, we honor and recognize our police officers for their service and sacrifice in keeping our community safe. And whereas there are approximately 900,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members at the Auburn Police Department. And whereas since the first recorded police death in 1786, more than 24,200 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and tragically been killed in the line of duty. Sadly, 302 of those names engraved are from Washington State. And now, therefore, I, Nancy Backus, Mayor of the City of Auburn, call upon all community members in Auburn to observe the week of May 11th through the 17th, 2023, as National Police Week, and join in commemorating law enforcement officers, past and present, who by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities have rendered a dedicated service to their communities. And I further call upon community members of Auburn to observe May 15th, 2023, as National Peace Officers Memorial Day, and lower flags to half-staff as directed under the presidential order in honor of the law enforcement personnel who, through their courageous deeds, have made the ultimate sacrifice in service. And let us also recognize and pay respects to the survivors of our fallen heroes. Dated this first day of May, 2023.
I'll keep it brief. This year alone, there's approximately 245 names that will be added to the National Memorial. There will be 4 names added to the Washington State Law Enforcement Memorial. Regardless of that, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, our officers will be out patrolling the area, trying to protect the public the best we can. Thank you.
Did anyone count all the whereases? Neither did I. Lots, yes, lots. All right, we will move forward. Agenda modifications. Sean, do we have any agenda modifications?
Yes, Your Honor. Placement of ordinance 6906 and 6907 on future agendas has been added to the
Thank you.
Unfinished business.
Thank you. All right, we will move to audience participation. This is the place on the agenda where the public is invited to speak to the City Council on any issue. The public can participate in person or submit written comment in advance. Participants can submit written comments via mail, fax, or email. All written comments must be received prior to 5 p.m. on the day of the scheduled meeting and must be 350 words or less. Please mail written comments to City of Auburn, attention Sean Campbell, City Clerk, 25 West Main Street, Auburn, Washington, 98001. Please fax written comments to attention Sean Campbell, City Clerk, at number 253-804-3116, or email written comments to publiccomment@auburnwa.gov. If an individual requires an accommodation to allow for remote oral comment because of a difficulty attending a meeting of the governing body, the city requests notice of the need for accommodation by 5 p.m. on the day of the scheduled meeting. Participants can request an accommodation to be able to provide remote oral comment by contacting the city clerk's office in person, by phone at 253-931-3039, or email to publiccomment@auburnwa.gov. Did we receive any written comment?
Yes, Your Honor. James Hargis expressed concerns regarding illegal fireworks.
Thank you. And I don't believe we have anyone online that required additional assistance.
No, Your Honor.
All right, we will open it up to public comment in person. When you come forward, or actually, was there a sign-in sheet? Maybe it's best if I call people in the order that they signed up. Did everyone get a chance to sign up that wants to? Yes, yeah, just wanted to make sure. Thank you, Sean. And my apologies if I say any names incorrectly, but I think I may have all of these tonight. All right. First is Jan Molinaro. And if you would give your name and address for the record and limit comments to 3 minutes, please.
Name, Jan Molinaro, address 1339 Griffin Avenue, Enumclaw, Washington. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, City Council members. I'm the Mayor of Enumclaw, but I'm here tonight as your Sound Cities President. And the purpose of my visit is really to address 2 different items with you regarding SCA. First, I want to thank the City of Auburn for being a member 1 out of 38 cities at SCA. Your continued partnership is valued, and you do have a voice in the region through SCA. Secondly, for those that have not attended, and I know I have seen pretty much all of you at one point or another at some of the SCA networking events, but I do want to invite each of you to consider joining us at our next event, which is scheduled for Wednesday, May 31st in Renton. And of course, more information will be emailed out sometime later this month prior to that event date. And of course, these networking events are an area where you can learn from our invited speakers, which they discuss various topics, a lot of times political topics or items that are happening in King County or the state. And it is also a place where you can greet and meet other elected officials and develop a new working relationship with those elected officials from around the region. Last, consider getting involved with various regional boards and commissions that SCA has the capability of making appointments to. As Mayor Backus has past president, she, I'm sure, can relate a lot of the different activities that she was involved with through the years with SCA. This is your opportunity to have an impact in the region as well as for your city. So I do want to thank you for this time, and available anytime you'd like to discuss anything related to Sound Cities Association or anything in general. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Next is Patrick Taylor.
My name is Patrick Taylor. I'm at 1812 4th Place Northeast, Auburn, Washington, 98002. I'm here to talk to you about the Special Needs Fishing Derby that we had last weekend. It's put on by the city, the Auburn the Noon Lions, and a total of, it's a zone project, which means there was actually 11 clubs in the regional area here. We had 41 Lion members show up. We had more than 100 kids there. 55 had registered as special needs, but we served all the kids, regardless of what their needs were or not. So we had well over 100 siblings and special needs children. I'd like to thank Mayor Nancy, the City of Auburn, and the 3 council members that showed up. We'd also like to say Mayor Leanne Geyser was there. We asked her to bring her world-famous motorcycle drill team, but we got 3 firemen instead. We had 3 service dogs wandering around with their owners. They were in training. There was one actually working service dog with one lady. So the kids got to see the dogs and see how helpful they are. They'd like to thank the Park and Recreation for their support over the last, I know of 14 years. They helped set up our tables, or their tables, and some stands, but they were very helpful and right on time. Acknowledgement went to the Washington State Fishery. They supplied us over, well, they say 1,000 fish. I didn't count them, but I'm sure they're pretty close. And they will dump in this. The fish go into Mill Pond, which is out by the high school in the north end or south end of town. And the pond was really cleaned up, which was done the week before by Auburn Clean Sweep with the Boy Scouts from the local troop. The Lions Club were there, the city was there, and other volunteers of the community. And I took care of personally the weather, so we had a great day.
You were good.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I've been doing that for quite a few years. And thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, next is Carly Willis.
All right, 1809 Howard Road, here we are again. I'm Carly Willis. I own Antique Marketplace. I read a quote earlier today, and it's, if you stay silent about the problem to keep the peace, there is a 0% chance that the problem gets fixed. On April 3rd, I came to the City Council for help. My business was under attack. I had experienced a break-in on March 7th. 1 week after I was here at City Council asking for help on Easter night, my store was broken into again. This time it cost me about $20,000 in damages and loss of income. I lost 2 vendors that night as they were cleared out of merchandise. One of them lost $10,000. I still have plywood over my 5-foot wide by 8-foot tall window because why bother replacing it? This past Wednesday, I chased yet another shoplifter for 15 minutes while the police were busy with another call. When the police arrived, instead of stopping the criminal who walked right by us, they pulled me aside and interviewed me while she walked away and ultimately escaped into the woods. One of my vendors lost around $150 that day. My vendors, as well as other small businesses in the area, are leaving Auburn. It is lawless here. We are made empty promises and ultimately must do what is necessary to protect ourselves and those who rely on us. I understand the police are understaffed, but I ask why? Yes. Why are officers leaving Auburn by the handful for other departments a city or two away? The state laws are the same in Renton, so what is happening with the management of Auburn PD that makes officers feel they are unsupported, unwanted, and ultimately leave because of it? There's a difference between leaving for a better opportunity and leaving due to lack of support. I am really sick of everyone passing the buck and blaming someone else for what's happening. I'm calling on the mayor, the chief of police, all of our elected officials. You're here for a reason. We wanted you here, so help us. I'm calling on you all to step up and do what is within your power to stop this madness. We, the people, are fed up.
Yep. All right, next on the list is Virginia Haugen.
Virginia Haugen, 2503 R Street, Southeast Auburn. Total of 6 years I spent on the city council in Auburn, and I have never seen an agenda like this in my life. Proclamation, proclamation, proclamation. Talk about Association of Washington Cities and talk, 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 talk. And my neighbors are going to lose their businesses because we don't have enough cops to protect me or them, the kids who live next door to me. The people I see on sidewalks with no place to live, and we talk and talk and talk about homelessness. There is nothing we can do. But I noted something on an agenda. A mayor who expects to get paid for accrued vacation. When I was on my way up the stairs to come to this meeting about 20 minutes before it began, and a homeless man with all of his possessions in big, huge black bag is passing me, and he says, "Good evening, ma'am." I thank God that my kids got to grow up and that Nancy got to become the mayor of a town that I care about more than anything in the world. And what this lady said to us tonight breaks my heart. Oh, and by the way, if I need a sermon, there's a church right across the street from me, and I believe we have some kind of a federal law about separation of church and state. Thank you.
Next, David Chivas.
Good evening. My name is David Chivas. I live at South 17th Division Street, right across the way here at Legacy Plaza. Good evening, Mayor, Honorable Mayor, City Council, City officials. We're going about the same thing. I'm going to say this. When I first came to Auburn, I say beautiful place, and I take pictures and photos as I go out downtown here. As I take these pictures and photos, it's one thing that I would say I found very much really appalling is there's drugs doing right out in the open. As you're looking at me right now, I have people doing this. I walk to I walk to a lot of the business here in and around Safeway. You'll see a lot of that activity being done. So I actually went to the police station and talked with a police officer at the Auburn Police Station. Chief, I believe they're going to come and I asked that they come and talk to our residents at our place here. And the reason why I come and ask them to talk to our place here is that 3 questions I have and I have asked each and every one of you, especially on council, city officials. Do you live in Auburn downtown? Do you know somebody who lives in Auburn downtown? If not, I would tell you this. Just recently, right by the Merrill Gardens, where it's assisted living right next to SAG, there's people in the corner in front of kids lighting up, in front of parents lighting up. When you call the police, they have other things. This is not a priority, I guess, because we're short of police and because the laws allow these people to carry these drugs on themselves without being arrested. So the most thing you can do about it is trespassing, is what I have been told. So, and then I was told by another person, well, it's kind of like whack-a-mole. If it doesn't happen here, it's going to happen somewhere else. I said, well, wait a minute. So my question is, what would you do if somebody's right across the street in front of you lighting up? What would you do? I asked a police officer that. He said I would come and confront them. I said, well, what about your grandparents? What if your kids, what if your grandparents were right in front of, these people are right in front of you, right over here, downtown. These are senior citizens lighting up. That's not a priority to get taken care of. What if it was your kids? What if it was you lived in a residence and I was doing it in front of you? What would you do? And this is like this beautiful lady said, talking's done. Come and tell us what you will do to get this out of our faces. Now, if I'm out here as a senior citizen, I get confronted by a person who wants to light up or beat me down. Do we have to wait for that to happen before we do something about it? All these calls are priorities. I filmed one night 7 police officers showing up to a guy who got beat down at the Shell station right across the street. 6 officers, boom, on this guy, 6 trucks. Same place, 3 or 4 people are doing crack and meth right by there. I call 4 hours before they can even come and look at that. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Next is Val Erickson.
Good evening. I came to support.
Val, can you give your name and address for the record, please?
That's right.
Thank you.
Valerie Erickson, 535 M Street, Northeast, Auburn, Washington. And I read in the Auburn Reporter about the antique marketplace, and I came to support you because I knew from the article, and I know from what you said tonight, that you are suffering. I have suffered as a resident of Auburn, a taxpayer, a property owner. I've lived in Auburn for over 40 years, and for over 34 years I felt safe. The last 6 years I do not feel safe. My house was burglarized, my car was stolen, a window was broken with a rock. They didn't get in that time. A human being pooped diarrhea in my garage, which I had to pay to have cleaned up. I have had stuff thrown in my yard. I've had people, humans, pooping in my yard. That's just some of the things. I do not feel safe. I have suffered loss of peace of mind. Now I know that the criminals, the drug addicts, and the homeless, they're all not that all at once together. It's a mixed group. I know they are suffering. I feel that there is more compassion for them from the city leaders and even sometimes from the police, whom I do support, than there is for me and her. The people who are trying to contribute, to live right, to live within the law. And I feel this is a shame. I hear a lot of good talk and of what will come and what is being done, but that does not convince me that the city government cares. I don't feel that you do, because I feel at this point there has to be something done, an action. I have to see a difference. And I'm promised that there will be a difference, but I've been promised that for many years, and I've seen it getting worse every year. And so I came to support you because when I read that article, I knew you were suffering. Twice, a break-in. I've had one burglary, which cost me money, burglary, and loss of treasured items.
Val, I need you to wrap up your 3 minutes. Or
Yes.
if you-
Yes, I will wrap up.
Thank you. LaShund Lambert.
LaShund Lambert, 29610 123rd Place Southeast, and it's still an Auburn address, praise the Lord. But 3 minutes, but I'm coming to you not as a pastor, but as chair of the Police Advisory Committee, and we have to say that we're disappointed just in the amount of talk that we've done about changing things, and we've given many great speeches and had lots of hugs and handshakes and talk, but nothing has changed. As many people here have expressed, people aren't safe in our city, because I know that people said they don't feel safe. They are finding out they are not safe, whether it be our business community where one person who can speak for themselves, their insurance rate went up $40,000 this year because of all the thefts that are going on. So it's not just the small business, it is across the board. I can't let my wife take a walk, and again, she's a very strong person, works for NASA, but it's just not safe for her to walk in our neighborhood. And what we're asking for is real change. The change that we talk about, whether you're a progressive conservative or liberal, do something. I'm not saying I know all the answers, but we have to do something where there's legitimate accountability when a job doesn't get done. We've asked multiple chiefs at this point, how many officers would it take to keep Auburn safe? And I appreciate Chief Collier telling us we'll work with what we have. That is noble, but it is proven to be ineffective. And I have 1:44 left, but we are pushing, begging, pleading, pick your term, our city council to be more involved with this process. There are many things that have transpired that make the public feel unsafe. Whether it be calling 911 and you're told that it'll be passed on and someone will arrive when someone is available. That is not good enough for taxpayers.
Excuse me, please. Audience needs to be quiet so that the speaker may speak.
Whether it be someone being on the payroll when they're on trial for murder, and it seems like not everybody in this room knew that was going on. Those things need to be public if we're going to have a transparent process where the people can say they have confidence. When we started the Police Advisory Committee, the agreement was that we would work to keep everybody safe. Our law enforcement officers that are laying on the line every day, and citizens just trying to get home that did not notice the flashing light. We don't want anyone feeling their life is in danger. And if we have people on trial for murder getting paid by our city, we have something that should at least be reviewed if we have that mechanism. And I'm told we have that mechanism. So I am begging council, our mayor, and anybody else that will listen to give us confidence that you're not just listening. We don't need to be heard. We need something to be done. And in my last 10 seconds, I'm asking you, protect this city. The amount of money it has cost my church in break-ins and the other churches around here is way more than a lot of the churches that have closed down bring in. So I'm asking you, do something real, and do it now, please.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Is there anyone else who did not get to sign up that would like to speak this evening? Please come forward, give your name and address for the record, and limit comments to 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Carrington. I am at 1811 Howard Road in Auburn. I'm with Carly right next to the Antique Mall. And again, my business is dealing with children. So I also was at the last city council meeting, and we heard from the police officer that they were going to work on having someone sit in the parking lot, maybe doing paperwork, just making a presence. We have not seen that. Since then, we've had another break-in. We have had to hold our students in the building because we had to chase someone off who decided to sit down again in front of my building to shoot up and keep that away from the children. Nobody came to do that for us. We had to dismiss him ourselves, and then we could let the children out of class. That is not safe. It's not okay. Again, we had someone actually confront a teacher who was walking out to their car, jump in front of them, threatened to hurt them. We don't know why. He was obviously not stable at the time. We did call 911. It took 20 minutes, 25 minutes for him to get there. By that time, the guy was already gone. But in that time, he was threatening to hurt one of my instructors, just trying to leave the building. That's not okay. And for them to take 25 minutes, and then when they get there, to ask us what we did to provoke him. We did nothing. We literally left the building. This isn't okay. We need this to stop. I support the police. I want the police there, but we need this to stop. We need something to change. We need to make it a safe place for the kids. And I hate to say this because this is my business, but it's not safe. Please do something.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Final time. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? All right, we will move on from public comment. I will let you know that I have asked Chief Collier to let me know how many times the enhanced patrol has been expanded down to your area of the city. And I would like to offer a meeting with you and the other business owners in the area, with our chief of police, with our code enforcement, and with our director of community development and other members of our team to talk about the issues, to talk about what the possible solutions could be, to be creative in our ideas. And if you have ideas, as I mentioned last time, we are always willing to hear those. We don't have all the answers. We are willing to work with you to identify some solutions. We don't like to hear about businesses being broken into. We don't like people feeling unsafe, especially kids, when they're going to learn to dance at your great dance studio. So we do care. We are willing to work with you to try and come up with some solutions. You're not going to like everything. We don't like everything. the drug laws that you are aware of that are in place currently at the state that are going to sunset on July 1st if the state legislature does not reconvene for a special session to identify new drug laws. The City of Auburn has already been working on what our drug laws will look like. We have been working with surrounding cities. On Wednesday of this week, I will be meeting with mayors from Pierce County to talk about what that should look like. And on Thursday, I'm meeting with King County cities, mayors, police chiefs, city attorneys to talk about what that should look like as well. Because truthfully, it should not be different from Auburn to Kent to Puyallup to Sumner. Seattle will probably be different, but it should not be different in the surrounding cities. It should be something that is sensible and it holds people accountable. I'm a firm believer that they should be a gross misdemeanor for possession and a gross misdemeanor for use. Not tied together, which is difficult to prove, but a gross misdemeanor for each one of those things. And that is what we are working on. Our city attorney has already drafted language working in concert with the surrounding cities. So if the state legislature doesn't come up with something, the City of Auburn will be ready. It will be at our city council probably in late May for voting in early to mid-June to be in effect by July 1 when the other laws sunset. Okay. All right. Moving forward, we have no correspondence this evening. We will go to Council Ad Hoc Committee reports. Council Ad Hoc Committee chairs may report on the status of their ad hoc council committee's progress on assigned tasks and may give their recommendation to the City Council, if any. Our first committee is Finance, and that is chaired by Councilmember Baldwin.
Thank you, Mayor. Everyone. The Council Ad Hoc Finance Committee, consisting of Councilmember Robert Baggett and myself, have reviewed one set of claims vouchers. For those dated May 1st, 2023, we reviewed 33 pages of claims vouchers, including 7 wire transfers, for a total of approximately $3.66 million. The committee also reviewed one set of payroll vouchers for the period covering April 13th, 2023 to April 26th, 2023, totaling approximately $3.04 million. All questions by the committee for the Finance Department were answered to the committee's satisfaction, and upon completion of our review, the committee recommends that Council approve the vouchers.
Thank you. And the second ad hoc committee is Mayoral Benefits and Leave Compensation Review, also chaired by Councilmember Baldwin.
Thank you, Thank you, Mayor. For the ad hoc committee, we're reporting that the legal department has engaged outside counsel of Inslee Best to support the development of ordinances as approved by council at the April 17th council meeting. The committee met last Friday, April 28th, and reviewed a draft of Ordinance 6906, which relates to clarifying the duties of the Independent Salary Commission. The committee is planning to meet Tuesday, May 2nd, to review a draft of Ordinance 6907, which relates to establishing caps for mayoral leave benefits. The committee will complete any initial revisions this week and will be submitting both ordinances to be included in the packet for the May 8th study session. This will provide a first reading of the ordinances and will provide time for council to ask questions and provide feedback. If at that time additional changes or modifications arise, the committee will continue to work with city staff and outside counsel to amend the ordinances as appropriate. That's all.
Thank you. Moving on to the consent agenda. All matters listed on the consent agenda are considered by the City Council to be routine and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Is there a motion? Deputy Mayor J. Raj.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. Is there a second? Councilmember Baggett.
I'll second that, Your Honor.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor J. Raj.
Thank you, Mayor. The minutes of April 10th, 2023 City Council Study Session Meeting, minutes of April 17th, 2023 regular City Council Meeting, minutes of April 19th, 2023 special City Council Meeting, claims and payroll vouchers as described by Finance Chair Kate Baldwin and recommended by the Finance Committee, and finally setting a date for the public hearing for ordinance number 6908 for enacting street payback requirements for City Project CP 2022 Garden Avenue realignment. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Questions or comments from council? All right, all those in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Motion passes for the consent agenda. All right, we do have unfinished business this evening. Council, you did receive that as an amendment to tonight's package. As Councilmember Baldwin mentioned, the ordinance for mayoral benefits was okay. I'm trying to. Is that a little bit better? Okay. The unfinished business that was added to the agenda this evening is based on the mayoral benefits that were added by the deputy mayor to the May 8th study session. I had asked that that be pushed to the May 22nd meeting since I was going to be on vacation and out of town and unable to attend the meeting. So this request this evening is to ask for a delay of that discussion with council to the May 22nd meeting so that I may be in attendance to be able to have an opportunity to speak as well. This needs a motion to move forward? Yes. Okay. Councilmember Brown.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I would like to move. Thank you. I would like to move adoption of this unfinished business item, placing the ordinance on the requested May 22nd date by the mayor.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mayor, may I ask Councilmember Brown to repeat or clarify his motion because it included to adopt and ordinances will require 2 readings. So the motion would be to introduce the legislation, I believe.
I think, yeah, the motion was to move the discussion to May 22nd, correct?
From the May 8th scheduled date.
Will you just repeat your motion, Councilmember Brown?
Yeah, I would move that we schedule the ad hoc committee discussion or the presentation of the item the ad hoc committee has taken on of the mayor's benefits and accrual of benefits and payout, as well as the salary commission discussion for ordinance 6906 and 6907, changing the date from the 8th to the 22nd of May.
Thank you. Is there a second? All right, motion does not pass. All right, moving on. We have no new business.
May I make a comment?
Councilmember Trout Manuel.
I'm sorry, Mayor, the motion has died, so we cannot have comment.
That's fine.
Okay. We will move on to resolutions. Resolution number 5706, a resolution setting a public hearing to consider the vacation of unopened right-of-way located within a portion of 116th Avenue Southeast that lies north of Southeast 304th Street within the city of Auburn, Washington. Is there a motion? Is there a motion? Councilmember Brown.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I would like to move resolution 5706 for adoption.
Thank you. Is there a second? Councilmember Trout Manuel.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. This resolution will be set for June 5th, 2023 as the date for public hearing to consider the vacation of unopened right-of-way located within a portion of 116th Avenue Southeast that lies north of Southeast 304th Street.
Thank you. Questions or comments? All those in favor of resolution number 5706, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Motion passes. Resolution 5714, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute and administer agreements accepting a grant from the Washington State Department of Transportation and Federal Highway Administration for the Lee Hill Road, 104th Avenue Southeast Roundabout project. Is there a motion? Councilmember Brown.
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to get lost here. The resolution.
Microphone two, please.
Thank you. Yes, Your Honor. I would like to move adoption of Resolution 5714.
Thank you. Is there a second? Councilmember Trout Manuel.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Brown.
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor. Now that I borrowed my colleague's computer, the resolution accepts grant funding awarded to the city by Washington State Department of Transportation and the Federal Highway Administration in the amount of $476,000 for the design of the Lee Hill Road, 104th Avenue Southeast Roundabout project that would be construct a new roundabout to replace the existing traffic signal at the intersection of Lee Hill and 104th Avenue Southeast.
Thank you. Questions or comments? All those in favor of resolution number 5714, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Motion passes. All right, we will move to mayor and council member reports. At this time, the mayor and city council may report on significant items associated with their appointed positions on federal, state, regional, and local organizations. We will begin with the deputy mayor.
I don't have any report, Mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilmember Baldwin.
Thank you, Mayor. I participated in a presentation at our community court on Saturday, which was on the topics of alternative paths for justice and the use of community courts within different municipalities. And it was interesting information and fantastic to learn about the success rates for those who are able to go through those programs to reduce repeat offenses. So glad to see that Auburn has been a leader in that space. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Brown.
No report, Your Honor.
Thank you. Councilmember Trout Manuel.
Yes, Mayor. Thank you. On April 18, I had a Zoom meeting with our National Leagues of Cities Human Development. We really didn't vote on anything, but we had a lot of discussion on what took place in NLC when we went to our conference. We talked about how this was the largest group that we have had at our meeting, and what's coming through the Congress, what they're voting on, and at that time they didn't have all the information to share with us, so that will be coming back later on. Then on April 19th, we went to the mayor's, the mayor's State of the Cities address. It was very well attended. Also, I really enjoyed seeing all the things that our department heads and their staffs have done, and to see everyone being part of this. It was really an eye-opening to see what our city is doing well. So then on April 20th, I had my National Leagues of City HELO board. We're working really hard for our summer retreat, and I had the duty of recruiting new members throughout the state of Washington. I had 39 cities that I had to talk to, and out of the 39, I recruited at least 4. They will be coming part of NLC. On April 20th, I attended a ribbon cutting for the new business across the city hall. It's called Emerald City Fashion, and ladies, you need to go. It's really a nice place to go. Lots of things to see. April 27th, I and Council Member Rake attended the King County elected official reception. It was sponsored by the DTG Recycle Company. We learned a lot about what they're doing in recycling mattresses, cardboard, sponges, not sponges, oh God, yeah, it's sponges, and just taking everything that they're getting out of the compost, they're recycling and reusing it to make plastic and other stuff. Then we met a lot of individuals that came to us and wanted to sit down and talk with Cheryl, Councilmember Rake, and I have forwarded those names to the appropriate departments. Let's see, April 29th, I also attended the Auburn Noon Lions, and it was very well, accepted by the family members that were there. It was nice to see all the families come out with their children and go fishing. I even took part of taking my 3 grandkids, and they had fun fishing. My youngest one is 6 years old. He caught his first fish, and so he was really proud of it. Then after that, I went to 2 of our local parks, took them to play at both the new park that we just put some playgrounds. Keep forgetting the name of it. Farmer Park. I ended up having to leave there because of some situations that was going on in there, and I didn't want my grandkids to see it. So we ended up going to Les Grove Park, and it was really nice to see all the family and the children that were there just taking advantage of the warm weather, and it was just really nice. And kudos to you, Mr. Favor. The people that I sat there and talked to, they love your park. They say it's the best park in our city, so thank you for having the staff taking care of that park for us.
You're welcome. It's not mine, so
But I know, but our staff takes care of it, so thank you. That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Baggett.
No report, Your Honor.
Thank you. Councilmember Rakes.
First, I went to the ribbon cutting for Emerald City Fashion, so like Yolanda said, if you haven't checked that out, check that out. I also attended the Master Builders Association elected officials reception. It was really nice because it gave me an opportunity to meet a lot of people that I didn't know. It was very well attended. Everybody was really friendly. I attended the Election 101 class here that the city put on for people wanting to run for office. And then I also attended the Lions Fishing Derby. And I really enjoyed watching the kids and how excited they got and how they blew the horn when they caught a fish. They got all excited about that. So that's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Malinga.
No report, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. All right. A few items. Thanks to those of you who did attend the State of the City address up at the Muckleshoot Event Center. Appreciate the hospitality of the Muckleshoot Casino and all of their team, as well as the great work that our team did to accomplish that event. The next day, we had 8th graders from Buena Vista in council chambers as they conducted a mock city council meeting about not being able to use any of their electronic devices after 5 p.m. As you can imagine, that motion failed in the in their chambers. And then on Saturday the 22nd, Clean Sweep, again a great event by our Auburn Parks, Arts and Recreation team. Thanks to all of the employees in the city who did help out, volunteer that day, or work on a project. And on the 25th of April, Tuesday, it's Sound Cities Association. Mayor Molinaro, who's the president, was here this evening. Large city mayors meeting, talking about the legislative session, and that is where we started talking about getting together the mayors, city attorneys, and police chiefs from our SCA member cities, as well as King County, to talk about what a Blake fix would look like within our respective cities. On the 26th, I attended the Inclusive Auburn Advisory Team annual celebration that was held over at the Verge on their rooftop. Thank you very much for allowing us to do that. Inclusive Auburn team will be bringing forward their mission and value statement. In fact, our Chief Equity Officer provided that to the directors today in draft form. That evening, Wednesday the 26th, at our Cities and Schools meeting, I did roll out the proposal for a fentanyl and opioid task force. I am happy to say that all of the members of Cities and Schools did choose to commit to being a part of that, so we will start the planning and forming of that task force. Thursday the 27th was Bring Your Child to Work Day here in the city of Auburn, and we had, I don't even know how many kids we had. A lot. Yeah, that's a number, a lot. From ages 9 to 14, and they were able to visit the different departments, visit with their parents for a while. Also, they took a tour out at the Auburn Municipal Airport. Police and fire were out here in the courtyard at lunch. And it was a great way for kids to appreciate the work that their parents do when they are away from them every day, and hopefully a great way to recruit some future employees. The 19th annual Special Needs Fishing Derby that was put on by the Auburn Noon Lions and the surrounding Lions clubs, always a great event. The weather was beautiful. A big congratulations to Christy Weinman, who caught the first fish at the Derby. And council, one additional item per Auburn City Code 2.03.090. I want to inform you that Kent Hay has been promoted to Director of Anti-Homelessness, and that was effective today. I don't believe we have need for an executive or closed session. We are adjourned.